Welcome back to the Piping Pastor. Well, we're going to be trying out another new tobacco today. So, getting almost like review type channel going on here. But I am happy to report that the Zulu improved. So, I know I was complaining about it the last time when I lit it up for the first time. But as I progressed through the bowl, it got a bit better. And then following on from that, I dried it out for a lot longer the next time. And I reamed the pipe before I smoked it. And tremendous improvement. So it was great tobacco. The pipe I was smoking it in, I had previously just smoked some old dark fired in, and that's a punchy tobacco. And I think what happened is it was neutralizing all the flavor nuances of the Zulu. So there is something to be said about keeping dedicated pipes and regular cleaning and so on and so forth, because it can make a big difference on occasion. So happy news there. The next blend is the new small batch from Cornell and Deal. So Firebird. Now, I don't chase small batches. That's not my thing. I'm not one of those people who, when a new small batch comes out, they wait on smoking pipes or what have you until 11:59 and place the order and try to buy a bunch of it all right away and then chase it every year when it comes out. That's just not my thing. Because for one, I'm not that in tune with what's coming and what's going on a regular basis to jump in as soon as those things pop out. But also because I have certain blends that I like, that I know that I like, and I don't want to start a batch or start a tobacco that I really enjoy and have it go away, knowing that it's a small batch and it can change. Or like for instance, Sun Bear, it comes out regularly, but they change it. It's black locust honey, it's Tupelo honey, it changes from year to year. And as I was just sharing with the recent change on Pilgrim's Muse, sometimes those changes are not ideal. So if you get to liking something and they change it or they stop making it, then it's just ends up being a disappointment. So I typically don't do that. But I was placing my order with the other stuff, and this was still available. So I thought, you know what? It sounds weird. I'm going to give it a try. So, and by weird, I mean it's a mix of dark fire Kentucky and Orientals. So it's got Izmir and Samson, which are Turkish Orientals, and dark fire Kentucky and red Virginias. So I thought, okay, this might be, kind of like a bijou experience. For me, I didn't really care for bijou. I ended up having to mix it with some other components because for me, the components in bijou fought. They were both really prevalent. They were both fighting for the steering wheel of the bus. And so there was no easy play between those two. And it sounds like this might be the same thing. If they've got some really, heavy hitter Orientals up against Dark Fire Kentucky, we could be dealing with, two people trying to drive the bus kind of a situation. So, but we'll see. But I'm going to share all the first experiences with you. So, by popping the 10. Yeah, all right. And let's see how many pucks we have in here. It is Cordial and Deal, so it could be 15 to 20. All right. Uno. Dos. Trace. Okay. 3. That's not bad. Okay, well, it's a fold over, really. So, all right. That's unexpected. Okay, it's Dark Fire Kentucky, Orientals, and Red Virginias. And I'm not kidding you. I'm getting like a lot of bread notes, a lot of grass, a lot of hay. I mean, this should not be the case. This almost smells like capstan. Wow, there's a little bit of darkness there, but not much at all. Goodness gracious. So that's kind of what it looks like there. Moisture content, it's pretty moist. So I thought this was supposed to be a cake, but broken cake, or maybe just, I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be a cake. Yeah, that's really pretty. So anyway, all right, well, pull some of this out. I'm going to give it a little bit of drying time, and then we'll come back and see what she does. And we are back. So for this, I'm using my little Admiral pipe here, my 100-year-old basket pipe from England, and this stem I had made for it because the original stem had cracked, and Boswell's redid this stem for me. And it's a great smoky little pipe. I typically use this for Virginias because this, despite the the tin description, smelled really strongly of really grassy Virginia. So that's where I'm going with this. I'm not one to dedicate individual pipes to individual tobaccos. I think that's a bit over the top for me. That takes too much time and effort and energy and pipes, right? I know a lot of you do, and that's fine. But I do have some where I typically smoke the Burleys and these, the Virginias and these, and a lot of Kia blends and stuff like that in those. Right? I do kind of have, I guess, subgroups of some, but for the most part, I just grab what pipe I like and put it in when I want to put in it and deal with the ghosting as it comes. But as I was able to report for the Zulu, that sometimes has a negative effect. So anyway, here we go. Let's get false light. I did let this dry out for a wee while. We'll see if it was long enough. I'm going to have to refill the Zippo and get my pipe roll set because I will be leaving on Monday and I'll be gone for about 2 weeks. So this will be my last video for a wee while, going out and doing some more wilderness ministry. Hmm. All right, well, I mean, initially, I'm getting like a Virginia. But a bright Virginia, not a red. And yeah, I'm smoking this in a Virginia pipe, so I mean, there is going to be something to say about that. But I mean, a red Virginia, Oriental, and Darkfire Kentucky mixture, I should not be getting a light flavor of a bright Virginia. Okay. All right. Okay. On the retrohale, you get some of the Oriental a little bit, and getting some of that bright sweet sourness. I'm hardly getting any Darkfire at all. And I saw when Smoking Pipes had Jeremy Reeves on talking about this blend. He said there was something magical that happens when you mix the Darkfire and the Orientals. And not enough drying time, obviously. Magical is a good way to explain it. because this is completely unexpected. I was picturing dark earth rich with some really high notes of, sourness. There's none of that. There's a little bit of stone fruit as I get further into the bowl. But wow. Okay, unexpected. Good. It is good though. I mean, I like it. It's trying to think what this reminds me of. I mean, it's kind of like George's Dragon. But not altogether the same. Interesting though. I mean, as you work into the bowl, you start getting a few more of the subtle notes out there. It's a lot more subtle than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's well, yeah. He was right. Something magical happened. Well, any case, on to our other content for today, which is Cosmos Club poetry. So this one is called The Dawn Brings With It. The dawn brings with it that sadness of arriving by train at a station that is not one's own. How disagreeable those rumblings of a new day that one knows cannot last long. Oh, my life, overhead as the day breaks, the child is crying. Very short poem, but there is a lot in this. So, a new day arriving, and there's a sadness, a melancholy aspect to arriving at a station that's not your home, at a temporary way station, right? That dealing with the train traffic and the weather and all these things like that, you're not home yet. You're going somewhere else, and it's not like a pleasant holiday. This is like just somewhere you have to go. And as the day breaks, a child is crying. The child, of course, is the poet, thinking about the fact that they're not home yet. They're not in a place where they're supposed to be. This is not their ultimate destiny. And deep inside, they know it. And the poem is meant to depict a person who is in midlife, who is having difficulty with the fact that they are not accomplishing their dreams and their aspirations, that they're here temporarily and that they're really not where they want to be. It's an uncomfortable poem with no good resolution about essentially a midlife crisis. But I thought for me, something else, it rang a different bell. One second. Got to answer this call. In part 3. So, what stood out for me in the poem was this Christian idea of essentially living for heaven. The idea that following the scripture where Jesus says, of course, the birds of the air have nests and so on and so forth, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. And so oftentimes Christians come with this idea that it's nearly a Buddhist idea in reality, that all life is suffering. This is not our home, and we just have to get through this until we make it to heaven. Whether you're thinking about rapture or what have you, just get past this part. But that's not accurate to the Christian life. If that were the case, then God would just take us directly to heaven. We never have any time here on earth, right? But living on earth does not have to be. Yes, it's not our home. It's not our permanent place, right? We are sojourners. We are visitors. Our eternal home is with God the Father and reconciliation in heaven and so forth. But when God created the earth, God saw that it was good. And yeah, of course, follow the argument of fallen humanity and fallen creation, and things here are awful for a myriad of reasons, but there's also a great deal of joy here. There can be had a great deal of joy engaging in the ministry that God has called you to, spending time with family and loved ones, enjoying the environment that we're blessed to live in, traveling and seeing the wonders of human creation, that secondary creation where we make stuff that looks really cool, enjoying the creative aspects ourselves, enjoying the blessings that God has given us. So while it can be tempting to, especially in a downtime, when you're thinking of how difficult life is or how bad circumstances are, thinking like, you know what, I just need to get to the next level. I need to get to heaven, and that's where it's all going to be okay. It will be okay. Every tear will be wiped from our eyes, but it doesn't mean that living here has to be misery. Even though, as my brother 13 Pipe says, we are on planet BS, that is true, but there still can be had happy, good times here. And in point of fact, we're here to fulfill the Great Commission and share the gospel with those who don't know it. So there's calling here, there's work here, and there can be joy here. It doesn't all have to be a way station that we have to be sad about. Well, that is it for this one. So I'm going to turn my attention back to this magical tobacco. And I guess I recommend it. I mean, if you're into small batches and things, and if you don't mind just having 1 or 2 tins of something and then have it go away forever, and it's not going to break your heart, then take some joy in this too, because you can. So, hope you have a lovely week. As always, happy reading.